number one source, Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 366 of Sports Card Nation. Paulie Campione is back, my fellow New York City brother from another mother, as we like to say. Part two of our great conversation. And man, we're going to have him back on. Left a little bit on the table just for time-wise, but awesome chatting up with him. And just, you know, it's like, again, it's like when two people get together like that, you know, have fun. You forget the mic's even on. And so I had a fun conversation. If you didn't catch part one, go back a week and catch that. Part two was today. Don't matter what order you listen to them. So if you're already listening to this, that's fine. And go back and listen to part one as well. I want to thank our sponsors that make this show happen. Iron Sports Card, Rob Valente, taking your bulk subs. Sports Collectors Digest, I'm fortunate enough to be able to write for them each month. Hobby Hotline, our Saturday morning conglomerate show. And Upper Deck, who lets us review some product. So with all the house cleaning out of the way, let's get the show started. All right, folks, here is part two of my conversation with Paulie Campione. And we're going to start out here talking about opening wax boxes, right? And while it's fun, no one will argue that, it's not really cost prohibitive. And while it's fun opening, sort of when the dust settles, right, sometimes we really take it on the chin. So we're gonna tackle that aspect and then much more. So here you are.
And something even better, like a lot of times, like I can't stand getting like a box of cards, and then I got, you know, that it comes down to like one pack that's good and that I'm going to like put aside, but the rest of that box sits there. And even if somebody pops one day and becomes a star, I gotta go look through boxes of this stuff to find out which one I have. Like it's just like a crazy process. But like with this, the digital, there's a search bar. You type in the guy's name, and you could have 10,000 digital moments. Those few names, those few you own are gonna pop right up. It's like a search digital catalog. And not only that, but even if you can't take owning a lot of these things from ripping packs and having like duds that you consider like, all right, this is just another common, they have these things called like burning challenges and things like that. So you could basically burn these old things into, to hit leaderboards and win, new packs and new stuff or things like merchandise or whatever promotion they're running. You can burn them off and they still have a value. So it's kind of nice because it's like, even if it's digital, it still takes up mental space. And you're like, you know what? I do want to get rid of these 1,000 commons that I have. So let's burn them away and turn them into something else. So it's like, I think it's just like one of those things though, like you have to sit down with somebody and like one night we get some cigars, we order a pizza, we sit there on the digital devices, and then we got to like go through it a little bit. So sometimes it's like, what is all this world? But I think if you're able to like chat with it friendly wise and see it, it becomes part of your life almost, because you're like, hey, I got to make my lineup today, or whatever. I don't have time. Let me autofill and put in whatever 5 players I have because I don't want to miss the day of fantasy predictions. So, I mean, it's just something. It's something cool. And that's why I like, like I said, I don't stop collecting one thing or another. I think that's the whole point. Also, why I started the "What Do You Collect" podcast, because there's so many different avenues and so many things you can collect. If you're a fan of any sport, any player, you just want to own different items. Who wants bobbleheads of do I have a Derek Jeter bobblehead? Do I have one of these headliner things that came out with these blown up heads of? Yeah, I got them all. I got that. I got the cards. I showed you these motion things. It's it. When you're a fan, it's you like somebody or a team, you just want to might have a nice wide variety. And if you're in it just to make a buck, it's a whole nother story. But
yeah,
as a fan.
Well, speaking of that, I wanted to ask you about that real quick too. And you mentioned, opening a box and maybe get one pack where it brings you some joy, and then the others maybe not so much. And listen, I think without knowing, right? these wax boxes are not going down in price. A
No.
lot of them are 4 figures or more. And just because you pay $1,000 or more for a box of cards does not mean you get that much worth in actual physical cards, and most likely not. Right? It's like lottery tickets. You scratch off 10, you hit one for a couple bucks, and the other 9 not so much. So wax is generally a losing proposition. I wanted to ask you about this. We're seeing on the physical side of the hobby, and again, to each their own. I'm not besmirching anybody, but we've seen a lot of people get in the physical side of the hobby just for the financial aspect. I'm going to buy this on Monday and I'm going to sell it on Wednesday. I'm going to double, triple my money, cash out. They're not necessarily passionate about the hobby. They're passionate about flipping and making profit and moving on to the next big thing, whatever that might be. A lot of the sneaker folks came over when that part of the hobby sort of plateaued, and they came over when the cards crescendoed, especially during COVID. With the digital, did you see the same sort of phenomenon there, or not so much?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there still is things that I feel like now everything's trying to level, and it's trying to become more of a collectible than the beginning. Because in the beginning, it was honestly like a lot of the big bang came from people just wanting anything on the platform. There was some comments selling for $25-$30, which now down to the base dollar, and it'll sit there because there's so many of them, because it was that whole there's not a lot of these, and they as they were released, they're officially licensed. So a lot of the digital stuff that is still going, NBA license with NBA Top Shot. NFL All Day is licensed by the NFL. Candy has MLB digital collectibles, and NHL Breakaway has the hockey. They're all officially licensed. So these are the only companies that can do a video and basically turn it into a collectible. There's, maybe someone does digital stills, but to get the actual video highlight, there's only those companies that can do that. So the mint size on these, generally speaking, are very small. When there's like this year, the Cooper Flag, it's capped at only 1,000 digital rookie. And then there's some parallels that go into that total build. I mean, so it's very small considering. So it's like, this is right now as they're coming out, they're hovering around maybe $160 to $170 for just a base rookie, $160 right now, as they just came out a week or two ago. So it's something that everybody wants one, because it's he's the hot rookie. If it becomes like the Wemby, the sensation, and then he actually delivers, that's something that will go up. It's as they also have these challenges that go on throughout the season, it kind of fuels them again, because it's like, okay, now we have a new rare moment that maybe comes out, and it's like, okay, there'll be the first, the top 3 people that want to burn their Cooper Flag commons, and whoever burns the top 3, say, for example, I'm just giving that as an example, there'll be an actual number, how many people will win it, will win this rare moment. So if you stacked a bunch of them, now, so it's like, okay, now I'm going to burn maybe 6 or 7 or 8 of them, and I want to be the guy who burns the most. Now you can get, that $1,000, Cooper Flag moment that only has a few, only limited, maybe minted to 50 or something. Like, that's what happens as, the season goes on. So, which is something I like, because again, it brings you back to your collection, and it's not just, I collected it, I got it, and now it's gone. But yes, in the beginning, it was a lot of people running in, trying to make money, selling them quick, because the money was just like, you couldn't get, like, you were just happy to get a pack. Like, the packs had queues where you were lucky, like, week after week, that something would come out. I had, I don't know, maybe a month of strikeouts, like sorry, missed out. And you were just like waiting to try to get a pack. So obviously anything you sold out of that was profit, because it was just, so new. And it was so cool because it was like, okay, you want LeBron James on a video, and it's minted, and this is the first series, so nothing else exists like this. But like every collectible, as years keep going on, maybe I don't need LeBron James anymore because I already have him from the last 4 years. It's like the physical. I'm only going to keep buying the guys that are my top highlights, that my top icons. I don't necessarily want every player every year. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're like just one of those like set completion type people that I just like collecting sets, then sure, go for your sets every year. But sometimes it's like, okay, I got my autographed rookie, I'm good. I don't need another physical card. I mean, that really, for me, a lot of the stuff, it's, unless it's the few of my icons or idols, if I have the rookie and it's autographed, like, I don't know, to me that's my highlight. I don't need another limited to 25 card of the same guy 3-4 years later. I don't know. To me, it's nice, but I'm not going to go after it, But the digital stuff, it creates every year a whole nother reason to want to get locked into it, because you can do so much with, like, if you told me there was a store that I could take all my physical stuff down to, and then, like, say they're going to throw it in a trash bin depending on what the value was, and they're going to give me a couple packs for it, like, all right, like, let's go. I'll start digging out my old stuff and see what I could do with it,
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe in the future since there's such a need, like, since it's just such a hot topic with collectibles and cards, maybe there's going to be something like that. I know there is something where obviously you can go and sell your elite pieces, but sometimes, those you want to hold. So you're really just looking to do something with the junk. But I mean, depending what it is.
If you want the junkie, if you go around to the National, you just look at all the garbage cans. They're just overflowing with that. No one's getting anything for those. It actually bothers me, because I think you can repurpose them. You can give them to some kids that will just want to mess around with them. We have a local children's hospital here that I used to give donations to, until they're like, John, we've got quite more than enough, so we're gonna hold off, and then I just some funds rather than the cards themselves to help them out. So yeah, not so much on the physical side, and that's a good point. And like you said, I think anytime there's money to be made, there's always going to be that group that tries to just come in and do that. That's not a new phenomenon either. That's been around, and it's not even a hobby thing. It's whatever in Wall Street, stock market, real estate.
Yeah,
there's going to be those folks that aren't passionate about it. They just see dollar signs, and that's what they're there for. And, might not be me or you, but those people do exist. All right, we're coming down the home stretch here. I'm rocking the hat. Thank you to you. That's your podcast. You see the banner behind you. What do you collect? Kind of talk about how it all started. What was the inspiration? You don't need me to tell you this, but it's a great show. You got some, you've had some big names and some great guests on there. Just kind of talk about, where it started, and, how you've sort of built it up to what it is even today.
Thanks, John. Thank you so much. It means so much. Obviously, you're a legend doing the podcasts and the collecting.
That just means I'm old. That's when someone says that, I'm like, it just means I'm old, and I was one of the first.
Because if you didn't do it good, you wouldn't still be here. So that's it, man. It doesn't.
I
it
appreciate
just means
it. I appreciate it.
Every year you're like the Ted Williams. Every year you're hitting, mid.
Well, my batting average. I think my batting average is starting to decline a little bit, or plateau. Let me put it that way. But
I couldn't believe I looked at a stat not that long ago. I saw last season only 9 guys hit above 300 in the MLB.
Crazy.
It was like 9. Like, I said, what? I couldn't believe this. I know the average doesn't mean anything now when you got all this other stuff going on, but I said 9 guys. I said, what is this? Average doesn't mean anything. I mean, come on, guys. If you stand
listen.
What is
Paulie,
this?
there's guys starting. There's guys that are everyday starters that back in the day would be cut. They wouldn't even be sent down to the minors, be outright released. And You know, I went to, I think it was a Tigers game, but about 2 or 3 years ago, before AJ Hinch was there. And, you know, they post the lineups on the screen before the game. And I'm a baseball guy. And I'm like, I half of these guys, I don't even know who is that? Where did this guy come from? Like,
I know.
you know, so it's crazy. But no, let's talk about what I don't want to talk
Talk
about
about the show. All right.
Yeah, let's talk about your
So about
podcast.
this,
Time for a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's return to the show.
but I don't know. I just basically love, like I said, collecting all these different things. And my whole life was kind of, you know, a variety of things that meant something to me, whether it's, you know, I'm a big Elvis fan. So I got Elvis, you know, dolls and figures and things like that since I was a kid. The old movies. So I have some collectibles of, you know, some of these Topps cards that came out, these Americana cards. They were just like swatches of movie star collectibles, like a swatch of their clothing. So it's like Marilyn Monroe, a piece of a dress, and it's authenticated in the card. Frank Sinatra, you know, I got James Dean, all this stuff. So, I mean, in general, I like collecting this stuff. And I don't know, sometimes it's like, it doesn't have like, you would think sometimes you could tell somebody like, look, I got a Frank Sinatra piece of his clothing in an authenticated card. And you're like, oh my God, what is this? Like $1 million? And you look and it's like $150. You're like, not even, maybe 75. But it's like, who cares? Like, I don't care of the value. But when you talk to somebody who doesn't collect, they would think like, oh God, what is this guy? Got $1 million worth of cards? Meanwhile, it's not. But it's like, to me, like the value doesn't mean much. So I said, you know what? I'd like to find, you know, other collectors out there and talk about the things that they collect and why it means so much to them. You know, like to me, you know, I could explain 100 of the things I got and why, you know? So it's like, you know, sometimes it's like nice, like, okay, great. Yeah. My top favorites. Yeah. The Honus Wagner card, Mickey Mantle's rookie, Michael Jordan's rookie. Like, yeah. Okay, great. Everybody likes, you know, those items that are priced out and would die to get one. But like otherwise, it's like I got just this, you know, little card that really doesn't mean much, and it sells for $35, but I'm never getting rid of it. Okay, why? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's the stories that I like to tell, and I like to hear, and not just in the card world, but in all kinds of collectibles. You know, we got some episodes with toy collectors, Pokemon collectors, some of the big Labubu dolls. These things are just like exploding, you know. And it's, to me, listen, I'm telling you, this stuff is like today with the color.
It reminds me, tell me if this hits home to you. I don't know much about the Labubu. I know of them. I've seen them. It reminds me, and I know you were like, it reminds me of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I had one. I had one as a kid. I don't know. Jeffrey Montgomery. The guy was bald, and that's it. I don't know where his clothes are. He's walking around naked somewhere, that doll in my toy chest. I still remember his name. But exactly. Then, yeah, you know, like we talked about, I think before we talked about like the Garbage Pail Kids, all these phases, Pogs. Growing up, I had Pogs and all this other, like whatever these collectibles were. I mean, but it's still there. There's some things out there. There's old, like, you know, bottle caps. There's all, remember, you know, there's like a whole bunch of collectible, like Mickey Mantle milk bottle caps that are still, you know, have a good price tag to them, but they're not obviously having the value of if you have his card. But you know, people just like certain things. So that's what kind of I said, you know, I like just talking to people normally about this stuff. And I was like, well, you know, I basically tried to, you know, partner with a lot of the digital collectible friends that I had who run the Collecting and Connecting channel on YouTube. So I was like, I want to put this show together. You know, maybe I can, you know, host it and, you know, post it on the channel. Kind of also talk about digital and physical at times, just to try to cross the worlds, you know, kind of say like, hey, you ever seen this digital stuff before? And to someone who collects digital, hey, you ever take a look at this physical kind of, cards before? So I like kind of bringing worlds together. Kind of like I'd love for it to be like a collector's lounge in a sense, where everybody kind of come talk about what you got and learn something new. I feel like every episode I try to kind of pair together guests where someone can learn something from them, where it's not just all 3 or 4 people in here all do the exact same thing. So I like to kind of just craft in a way like, okay, this person's probably going to be interested in what this person has to say. This person designs cards. This person designs digital cards. So they're both artists, but they're both working on different platforms. So that's, some of my episodes are things like that, where I'm kind of bringing all the worlds together and just kind of see everybody just, show off and talk about, what matters and what means something to them. So as it's been going, obviously a bunch of the guests, I have a lot more recorded that I have to get through editing, and we release every other week. So 2 or 3 a month, depending. So just love to just keep putting them out there. And I'll try to get to some shows and also talk to people right at like Comic-Con. I went to the Bitcoin conference, Fan Fest in New York City. Just all those events. Also, I try to go there and do an episode, talk to the collectors and the vendors, and just try to give a good overall discussion about where the industry's going, something that meant something to the person, and something different. So I've been enjoying it. It's been fun, and I'm so happy that you were there at the early episodes, help getting things rolling.
I'm sort of one of the OGs. I don't, not the first one, but listen, I'm not just saying this, Paulie. But what you do is not easy, right? When you have people with different aspects to them, right? That number one don't know each other, maybe doesn't know what the other one collects or that lane, right? And you kind of like you're at the forefront of that, and you're moderating that. That's not as easy as you make it look. Believe me, I've tried it and probably not been as successful as you at doing that. And you do such a great job. I can speak to the episode I was on where, it was sort of seamless. I was a little worried being I'm more of a physical guy, but those worries went away very quickly during the recording of that episode. When you realize, we all really have that collecting gene. While we may collect different things, we still really come from the same cloth. We just wear different clothes. You know what I mean? I might be a weird analogy, but I'll use it, right? And what's great with your show, and I hope I do a little bit of that here, right, is we can go off on a tangent. At one point during my opinion, we're talking about like the best pizzas in different areas, right? And I don't care who you are, unless you completely don't like pizza, right? We're all going to give like what the best pizza in our mind, in our opinion is, right? So that's the beauty of like when you get different people together, you can always find common ground, right? Or common interest, no matter, even if the main interest is sort of different. And I like that you do that and kind of with the baseline that we collect, right? What do you enjoy? What moves your meter, so to say. And, again, not easy to do, and you make it look easy, like a no-look Stockton pass to Malone, and they made it look easy, but not as easy as you think. And I think it's a testament to the growth of your podcast and why people enjoy it. And it's got to start right too with whoever the host is, right? That passion comes from you kind of setting the tone. I try to do that here too. But you can't fake that stuff. It's either real or there's no in between, is what I'm saying. So I think people know. I hope they get that from me. I know they get that from you for sure. That you're passionate about collecting in general. While we have our favorites, we love the fact that we're all in this collecting fraternity together. And your show is just tremendous. That's not lip service. That's just truth speak. And and it's going to be fun to watch, as it grows and gets bigger. And I might have to ask you to like get some of your guests, like, hey, ask them if they'll come on Sports Card Nation.
Well, listen, I love to keep working with you, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
listen,
we'll keep working on something. I'll come up with something else we could do.
Us Brooklyn guys got to stick to Brooklyn. Us Brooklyn guys got to stick together.
Listen, who knows? Maybe we start, we'll start a pizza podcast. We could do whatever, cannolis.
I won't argue. Look, I got the belly. I won't argue. I'd be all right on that show. So, but no, but that's, you're doing a tremendous job. Again, you don't need me necessarily to tell you that, but I will. And, it's going to be fun to kind of, watch where you go. And again, you look like a natural when you do it. Again, everyone says, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to turn the mic on. I'm going to turn the camera on, right? And I did the same thing. And some of those early episodes, some might argue even the current ones are bad, Newman. But I mean, the early episodes were rough going. It's not an easy I guess for some it's easier. I like to think through 7 years, I've sort of, fine-tuned some stuff and my own skill set. But, you hit the ground running and look like a seasoned vet right from Jump Street. So,
thank you.
And, when you have a show with, I don't care who you are. There's very few people that don't collect something. I mean, my wife's not a card person, but she collects like Disney stuff, like Disney ornaments or Hummels, and we have so there's
I gotta tell you about a whole new world. If that's the case, do you know about these Disney Pinnacle? They're digital things. I'm gonna send you some. Your wife, if she wants to create an account.
I don't think. She's more like she would want the thing in like the curio cabinet thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's where she falls. But Disney is like a monster, right? When it comes to like marketing and collectibles and people who collect it. Hey, before we wrap it up too, I don't know the answer to this, and I said save it for when we're recording. So I kind of guessed at what I thought it might be. But you see the name on your screen, Paulie Whizwit. Where does that come from?
It comes from my love of the sandwich. It's from the Philly cheesesteak, because I think there's only one way to order it if you're in Philly. You got yourself, it's whiz, so you got cheese whiz, and wit, as they call it, wit onions. So that's the short term. As they, if you're going there to order a cheesesteak, you say whiz wit, they're gonna put the cheese whiz, they're gonna put the onions. You got some people over there experimenting. They're putting Swiss, they're putting without onions. If you just chop your Frankenstein in the sandwich, stop. Just go somewhere else. Go down the block to the deli and order a sandwich. Get out of here. You got to order a cheesesteak one way, and that's it. I mean, to me, it's the perfect sandwich. It's hot. It is meat. You got bread. If it's done right, you can't just tell me like, oh no, I don't know, cheesesteaks, I don't really like it too well. If you order them from like Buffalo Wild Wings, I can understand why you don't love a cheesesteak. But I mean, when you go to the right place, it's just, what else is better than that? I mean, trust me, I've eaten my
sandwich. These lines are long, right? It helps just speed the process along.
That's it. Right.
Order it. Here's your sandwich.
Next. That's it, guys. Don't waste your time. You don't need to reconstruct the world here. Come on, go home and make a sandwich. You want to, otherwise.
So I guess right. I kind of said that.
It's my love of the cheesesteaks. I'm in Jersey, so there's times when I was, crazy night, and you're just all of a sudden like, I don't got to get up to work tomorrow. Hell, get in the car, everybody. We're going to Philly. They don't close 24 hours. You can get a cheesesteak. So I mean, that's what happens. Midnight, there I am, strolling into Philly in the middle of the night and looking to scoff down a couple sandwiches. I mean, you can't beat it, So
yeah, you can't go wrong.
That's the name. That's the name. It's really that's all it is.
I like it. Well, listen, Paulie. Before we say goodnight here, let's give out where people can find what do you collect, social medias, webs, whatever you want to share, put out there for the world to hear, so we can get people, to see the great work you're.
Thank you. Yep. All my socials, TikTok, Instagram, X. It's at Paulie Wiswit, just as it is on screen here, and over at the Collected and Connecting YouTube channel is where you can find all the other the Collecting and Connecting podcast that comes out, which talks mainly digital collectibles. And my show, What Do You Collect, is also on there, all the episodes. You could also just go to whatdoyoucollectpodcast.com, and recently just have launched in the Google Play Store for those Android users, all 10 of them out there. No, I'm kidding. There's more than 10. I got Android. I like it. But if anybody is, you go over there and there's a What Do You Collect podcast, you type that in, and there's an app which also directs you to the website, and you can scroll and get all the episodes.
There you go.
Should be everything.
Yeah. Well, Paulie, listen, we'll have to do it again. You get the two of us. We could have done 3 hours. Quite
yeah,
you know that
as
well as I do. So, and maybe we will someday. Just not today. But we'll do it if you come back. We'll do this again. I love to come back on for down the line. If you can squeeze me in after Gary V.
Absolutely. Listen, of course, we'll do it again for sure.
Yeah. This was a blast, and I love what you're doing, man. And listen, I'm not gonna lie. People know me. Like I being from New York, I love my New York guys. And
thank you.
It's fun to chop it up with someone where you're from, where you come from, and I love chopping up with everyone on the show. But there's a little bonus there when I have my New York.
All right, beautiful. That's it. Listen, I feel honored. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, John, as always, and look forward to keep it rolling, keep it rocking together. So
yeah,
that's it.
No doubt.
Get these collectors out here. Let's get them out here. We'll flush them out somehow or another. We'll hear all the stories they got.
We'll open up the hydrants.
Yeah, really. Come on, get all those cards out of the basement.
You might don't swallow a water bug. That's all.
Yeah, really. And keep the cards in the attic. The floods don't get up there as quick.
Well, Paulie, keep up the great work, man. This was we'll do it again, but this was
awesome. Sounds great. Thank you, John. Much appreciated. Thanks so much.
Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, chopping it up with Paulie. Again, this was part 2, so if you didn't catch part 1 last week, go back and catch that, if you will. And little preview for the next few weeks. We're going to have Paul Lesko, the hobby lawyer, on, and we're going to chop up some litigation that's going on in the hobby. Some really interesting hobby cases in the courts of law, not on social media, but in actual courtrooms. And whether you like that stuff or not, it does have a direct effect on the future of the hobby. Always great having Paul on. So that'll be the next few weeks with him. That's how many cases are in court that we had to go a little overtime, if you will. All right, let's hear from our Hobby is the People announcer of the week and wrap up this week's episode.
Time for our Hobby is the People announcer of the week.
What's up, Sports Card Nation? This is Brett McGrath with the Stacking Slabs podcast. Remember, the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People announcer of the week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.